the $112 million deal that fell through. This is an actual story, an epic that happened in my life in 2019. I'm going to be much more grounded as I tell this story. A lot more focused on being able to tell the details. This was one of the most pivotal moments in my life. One of them. I can't say most. Let's get to it. So in 2019, I got an email from a stranger who claimed that she wants to fund my music career. I've got the email pulled up right here. It said, "Hi, Eric. I came across you while Google searching for an actor/artist to sponsor and films to fund. I'm blown away by your talent. I'd like to discuss the possibility of funding your career and goals. Please get back to me at your earliest convenience. Sincerely," and we will use the name Kelly, as I've looked into this and it's a real person. And I don't want to dox anybody on my channel. So this email was sent to me April 17th, 2019, to my Bandzoogle email, which I had set up at the time, ericcherkoff.com. I don't have that website anymore. I thought really nothing much of it. I responded back, "Thank you so much for getting in touch. I'm privileged that you came across my website. I would love to discuss any opportunities you have in mind. Do you have a website I can view?" And she responded, "Awesome. No, I do not have a website as I am a real estate investor. May I call you to discuss/interview with you?" I responded with my phone number, said that would be great. So then the next day, I think it was April 19th, I am sitting in my room with my cousin, Emblem, the YouTuber. And I start getting a call on my MacBook. It routes through from the phone to the Mac because I had both connected. Didn't recognize the number. I was like, I'll pick it up. There's a female voice on the line. She tells me that it is her, Kelly, the real estate investor that wants to be a benefactor. And she starts, very professional tone in the voice. Says that she's based out of San Diego, has been a real estate investor for... I actually, off the top of my head, don't remember the details. Let me pull up the note file, because I started taking as best of notes as I could during the conversation. She tells me, I'm a real estate investor. I did 10 million last year revenue. And she asked me questions. Are you single? Do you have kids? What's your age? At the time, I was 24. And I've got written in this note file, independent music, project fund. A funding sheet will be needed, and there will be X dollars in it as long as it is not exceeded. So what ended up happening over 2 hours is I was on a phone call with this said real estate agent. And she describes that she wants to be a benefactor for an artist that she sees potential in. A musician, an actor, somebody. And she had somebody set up in the past for this, but she ended up cutting herself out of the deal. Why? Because I've got it written what she said. The problem with her last artist referral is he didn't carry himself like he knew what he was worth. Whoa. So the requirement for this benefacting that she wanted to offer is that she would not be known, and that she gets the full euphoria of being able to know that she has assisted a talented person into the limelight without actually receiving any of the credit. There can be a lot to be said about that when you think about the law of attraction, when you think about receiving in public versus receiving in private. Like as Jesus says, don't even let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So, furthermore, during the conversation, she said her wish is that you utilize all of the money in the project fund in a year. The requirements, there's no porn, there's no gore. And she requested that she doesn't receive anything in return. She also offered a $1 per month lease in North Hollywood. And that was so that there could be a space for myself and the team that I would hope to build for artistry. Now at the time, I was beginning to become interested in the law of attraction. I shouldn't even say beginning. I was probably about a year and a half into having an interest and doing some meditations, but I hadn't really seen any results. And so my thing with the law of attraction, I saw people always say, you know what, set your goals, and then once you've set it, increase it tenfold or 100-fold, whatever it is. So I had set my initial goals of, well, I'm going to make like $1 million, $12 million. And they're like 100x it, people say. So I 100x my goal and say, well, let's just shoot for $112 million, which is not really a lot of money compared to what that would have been back in the 90s. Inflation and whatnot. That's a different conversation. Back to this phone call that I am having with Kelly. She qualified her real estate investing by telling me that she's from Arizona. So this was a little bit about her. She's from Arizona. She owns 8 apartment buildings. She has 2 high rises, 30 single family units. She has investment accounts. And what she had said is, with all of these assets, she does $11 million a month in revenue. She has $8.8 million in expenditures and $5.2 million a month available. And then on top of that, she said she's got $90 million in the bank. And she gets a lot of investment opportunities. Probably is going to take $90 million and invest. And then she finished with saying she likes a challenge and tries to satisfy the entire contract that she commits to. So then we start discussing, and in my head at this point, thinking back on how this conversation flowed, how it popped out of the blue into my life, how it felt like it was manifested straight from my imagination, the euphoria and the I can't express it. Maybe one day I'll be able to. In fact, actually, in some way, I did. I expressed the feeling that was happening in this conversation of thinking that this has manifested straight from my imagination and my heart in the song Limitless that me and Emblem created and put into the Mr. Beast experience. I play that song at the end of this video. With Kelly, after she had said all of these things, what we agreed to, what I requested of her, was that I start an independent music label. I have a project fund. I don't have any numbers for that, so I don't know how much that was for. I would also have a personal fund, something that I was paid for running all of this personally. So the project fund would be for the music label. And the movie label as well. And then, along with that $1 per month North Hollywood house, a house contract. And then I would have an independent label that gets X dollars per month for location spending, for the wages spent, for the expenses that would be spent. A project fund of $50 million per year. Now, I haven't even looked at, this is kind of one of the first times I've revisited this scenario in this amount of depth that I am doing for you, because this had a significant emotional effect, having all of this happen and fall through. So I'm not even sure if the math equates. 50 million per year. Let's just scroll back. What was she had 90 million in the bank, and the project fund would receive 50 million per year for myself. So that would be 5 out of 9. And she wanted that to be used completely per year. And then my personal fund for the first year would be $200,000 per month. The second year would be $1 million per month. And an annual gift was promised. This is the ticker of $112 million every April 24th as a personal private gift. For the record, I know that this is bizarre, completely unrealistic. This is the story that is epic to me that has happened in my life. And when you're on the phone with somebody for 2 hours who qualifies themselves in the way that Kelly did, and you're beginning to understand the law of attraction, and that vibration carries into different dimensions, and that we are creator beings, and that everything and anything is possible. And then a conversation like this drops into your reality, and you have it for 2 hours with a person who is well able to speak, well able to qualify themselves. They're built for this. They are a seller. Man, the impact is grand. So those were the notes on the conversation. After 2 hours, what we had decided was, let's coordinate in the next few days to meet one another finally. She's in not San Jose. She was in San Diego. I was in Corona, California. And we were going to meet in the middle on the coast in the city called Oceanside with attorneys, so that we could sign the $1 a month North Hollywood lease, because she had real estate that she owns in that area. So after saying, let's meet, I hang up. I go back inside the house. Emblem's there. He is the only eyewitness that I have for all of this happening. He's like, what's going on? And I was like, I need to go take a shower. And I kept telling myself in my head, don't treat it like it's already happened. Treat this. How would somebody who has the mindset of a king treat this scenario? And I kept saying, believe the best, but don't trust it until the money is in the bank. And yet, even with that, the euphoria that you feel from it, I've tried to describe it multiple times, but I can't. If you've ever had a similar scenario, you know exactly what that can feel like. The long story short, what ended up happening is instead of following up with Kelly, at that time in my life, I was having it wasn't a difficult time to communicate. I was not as forward with being able to feel comfortable in contacting people. Many artists are like this. We want to be nice and we want to let the other person approach us and whatever it is, right? I was very nice in expectations and beliefs, and mix that with positive thinking that is taught through law of vibration and law of attraction. So I thought, you know what? I just got to wait for her to contact me back. Doesn't text me, maybe a week or something. A week and a half later, I send her a text, and she responds, "Who is this?" Or, "Can you remind me who this is?" And I'm thinking in my head, well, it's a real estate agent. It's somebody who's got a lot going on. And when I look at the numbers and the speculations that we talked about happening, probably just like hasn't put it to memory. Looking back in retrospect, right? My conclusion is that Kelly had wanted this conversation to happen solely for the feeling that it gave her. I remember one of the things that she kept saying near the end of this conversation was how she was so excited that this was something she could do for me. And this is the feeling that she has been after. It's about the feeling. Again, law of attraction. So back to me texting her and she's saying, who is this? I reminded her by sending her the notes that I have just read out to you. And we jumped on another call. And in that second call, we just reconfirmed what it was that I wanted to do with this benefactor giving me this opportunity. And we adjusted the numbers a bit and then hung up. It wasn't as dramatic of a call. After that second phone call, that's when I told my cousin, Emblem, and we took a shot of vodka together, like celebrating this. And then long story short, I didn't follow up because I figured it would just, if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen, right? Wrong. If it's meant to happen, then you better make it happen. It's my view now. You better do what you are meant, what you can do. You know, take the reins on the bull. So over the following weeks, Emblem and I, we end up finalizing the Mr. Beast experience, creating the song Limitless, and I start losing faith, losing hope, and I'm confused, like, oh shoot, if I lose hope, if I lose faith, then is it like, how does that play into infinite quantum probabilities, into timeline shifting and whatnot? Well, it ended up falling through. However the explanation of that can be said, I take the responsibility of simply not reaching out the way that we should all feel comfortable being able to. The day that the deal falls through, I don't remember which day it was. Emblem and I are bartending at a wedding. We're bartending and I figure, you know what, I better contact Kelly, ask how things are moving forwards with this deal. And she responds, "Hey Eric, thanks for getting in touch. We went a different direction." And I remember looking at my phone. I'm in this little hut that Emblem and I are bartending. There's people requesting drinks. Like, this was kind of it, you know, if you've been in the service industry and bartending, you'll just check your phone through your shift. So that was the kind of moment that I was in. I checked my phone, saw the text, and read, we went a different direction. And in my head and my heart, sure, my heart sank, but I also had this moment of confirming what I had thought on the first day and the first conversation after I had that first conversation with Kelly. Like, don't trust the outcome until the money is in the bank. It was disappointing. Drastically, yes. Because if this was a probable real scenario, like, that's life-changing, right? Everybody knows that is life-changing. Now, reflecting on what happened. What did this experience teach me? It taught me that if you want something, you better make the call. Find how you can do it for yourself. And if somebody is promising something, somebody is telling you that they want to do something for you that is big, as Sam Walton, the creator of Walmart, says, trust them, but verify it. Trust, but verify. If I handled the situation differently now, I would, I'd just call every day, you know? Like, squeaky wheel gets the oil type of energy. So, that is the story of the $112 million deal and more that fell through for me. I'm going to be so roasted in the comments. Like, I know how funny this situation sounds. It sounds funny until you're the person who's in the scenario. Yeah. Now to conclude this video. I've got the original journal entry that I wrote. It was April 24th, 2019. After the call with Kelly. I had a phone call today that may have changed my life. Kelly called after I sent an email reminding her that she can call anytime, and we discussed future possibilities and her being a benefactor. Now we're living this, now we're limitless. The lyrics that came to me for the song Limitless. My mind is really having a difficult time really believing this to be true. Well, yeah. Psychology, manipulation, man. Whether Kelly was, reflecting on this, whether Kelly was using this scenario with me and possibly, most likely, using many other scenarios of people who are actors and artists in order to manipulate their feelings without actually fulfilling the promises of the conversation in order to help her vibrational energy lift and thus only benefit her, who knows. But in my perspective, this was psychological manipulation. And it was done at its finest. Oh man. I've put my hope in things that seem too good to be true before. Knowing the way this world works and what I've experienced before, I only start putting hope in it when paper is finalized, when the contract is finalized. It was a big experience. It was something that created a euphoria. It made me a millionaire mentally. When you can already have the energy that $1 million in the bank can give you, but you don't physically have it, I don't know how to describe that to somebody who has not been in that scenario. Like, you literally, it's like a drug. It's like your brain and your nervous system and your overall vibration is altered like a drug. It's an altered state of consciousness. So I'm going to play the song Limitless for you now. This was the beautiful part that did stem from this situation. I had the instrumental created already. I produced it after coming back from Australia. And then Emblem and we pop it up on his computer in our little studio we have in the garage. And after this conversation, the Limitless lyrics came to me. So here you go. This is Limitless.
We gave everything from the heart. I can't believe we made it this far. I gave everything, here we are. Look how far we have come. Went through hell just to look at the stars. We went through hell just to look at the stars. Now we're living it, now we're limitless, oh. Now we're living it, now we're limitless, oh. Everything from the heart. I can't believe we made it this far. I gave everything, here we are. Look how far we have come. Went through hell just to look at the stars. We went through hell just to look at the stars. Now we're living it, now we're limitless, oh. Now we're living it, now we're limitless, oh. Now we're limitless, oh. Got a million dreams, there's a million things I gotta do. Got a million dreams, there's a million things I gotta do. Got a million dreams, there's a billion things I'm gonna do. Got a million dreams, there's a billion things I'm gonna do.